A 22-year-old is murdered in cold blood and left in a cemetery.
And it wasn't a simple assault where he slapped her. This is an individual that had beaten her severely. So the signs seemed to be there.
Her alleged killer, her ex-boyfriend, who was previously in jail for savagely beating her on a vacation. The body of
Holy hell.
22-year-old Lauren Johansen was
And this dude is crazy as hell. Entertainment and educational purposes only. TikTok and YouTube.
tragically discovered on July 3rd. Her remains were found in her own car, reportedly mutilated, wrapped in trash bags and sheets. Authorities would trace the crime to
Oh my God.
her ex, 23-year-old Bricen Rivers, who was jailed just months earlier for severely beating her, but was released on bond shortly before her murder.
As a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, we deal with domestic violence cases all the time. Thankfully, the majority of cases don't result in the absolutely heinous crime that we have before us. And I think one of the things that stands out in this case is not just the actions of the defendant in terms of, and obviously this is allegations, but assuming they're true, but what he did to the woman he allegedly cared for, but how the system failed her as well.
New details just released piece together the timeline of what led to his release and the days leading up to Lauren's murder. So let's begin on December 11th of 2023.
Dear Lord.
Lauren and Rivers were on a vacation in Nashville, Tennessee, when the two reportedly got into an argument that escalated after leaving a local bar. According to Metro Nashville police officers, they later found Lauren beaten inside a car with Rivers in the suburb of Germantown. The inside of the car reportedly was covered in blood, and a handgun was also found.
Oh my God. This dude is garbage.
In the vehicle. According to police, Lauren had cuts on her head, her eye was swollen shut, and the car had blood spattered at the front and found the pistol covered in blood on the floor.
Man. Oh my God.
Floorboard. Rivers reportedly had blood on his
Put me in, coach. Let me go have a word with him. Allegedly.
hands and face, but didn't appear to be injured. Lauren told police and paramedics the 23-year-old got mad because she was talking to another man, and the beating had lasted an hour. She explained to police she had been screaming for help at any car that passed by, but he covered her mouth. Rivers was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, 1 count of aggravated stalking, and 1 count of coercion of a witness. Then about a week later, a judge said that Rivers is...
That's a crazy looking dude right there. Holy hell. TikTok, he don't look like this right now. This must be like old as hell. That is a crazy looking dude right there. Oh my God. Dude looks like a boss from like Double Dragon, the video game. Looks like the Rock dude for sure. Oh my God.
Bond at a...
Y'all see that? TikTok, if you're not watching, come over to YouTube. The Mystery Project on YouTube, you can watch it. YouTube, hit that thumbs up, but we don't even have 100 likes yet, y'all. Come on. Everybody watching, hit the thumbs up.
$250,000. Lauren's father, Lance Johansen, would tell local station WLOX he was in the Nashville courtroom and told the judge if they let Rivers out of jail, Rivers was going to kill Lauren. Adding it was the 5th or 6th time they got into a fight and Rivers would beat her. Their family would try to get Lauren away from him, but Rivers would always weasel his way back in. The warning to the judge was ominous.
Man, if I was that dad, I'd have handled that too, allegedly. But somebody's coming after your family, you have the right to defend your family. I'd have handled that real quick.
Because within months of the bail hearing, the horrific murder occurred. On March 13th, Rivers requested a reduced bond. Then weeks after the request, a judge would approve the reduced bond to $150,000, which Rivers was able.
Why the hell did they let that dude out? Man, that is crazy as hell.
To post.
And I think you had a case here where it was clear that the family made clear to the judge that if this individual got out, their child would eventually be killed, and they were right. And so we have to ask some questions about the decision-making on the judge's part.
Man, that's crazy. Sued. Remember that, y'all? We used to go sued, sue everybody.
Lower the bail. And then it seems like there was just a domino effect of mistakes along the way that resulted in his ability to be able to travel wherever he wanted, without any regard for the GPS monitoring, for the judge, for the courts, and be able to eventually commit the crime that is believed that he did.
Law&Crime
That's crazy.
legal analyst Julie Rindelman explains the judge's
So sad.
decision to reduce bond would spark a tragic and devastating domino effect.
Look, I hate to Monday morning quarterback a judge's decision. I think from the evidence, it sounds like this is a young woman that had been beaten and battered before the initial arrest. The arrest itself involved a beating, from what we've been told, to basically a pulp, where there was blood everywhere in the vehicle.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Where there were clear signs that this was an individual that, if let out, was potentially going to injure her more severely or kill her, such that the father made it clear that that was clearly something that could happen.
Rivers' bond came with conditions. Rivers was reportedly ordered not to leave Davidson County, Tennessee, and was ordered to wear a GPS monitor after posting bond. Then in a May hearing, Rivers and his mother asked for the condition of his bond to be changed so he could live in Mississippi and not Davidson County. However, the judge denied that request. In June, Rivers' assigned probation officer sent a copy of the judge's order to Tracking Solutions, a GPS monitoring company, and it was requested an email be sent to the district attorney's office to get the appropriate addresses for exclusion zones. Rivers' attorney then provided the courts with an address he would allegedly be staying at in Davidson County.
It is not an easy
Jessica,
job
thank
for a
you.
judge to make a decision when it comes to, especially these domestic violence cases, because you don't know what someone is capable of. And
So you err on the side of caution. That's not difficult at all. You go, oh, I don't know what you're capable of, but we do know what you did already. Jail. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there.
you can
That is crazy as hell.
release someone who has not committed a incredibly, I guess we'll call it, serious domestic violence case, and they can still go out and kill. This case is a little unique because the signs seemed to be there. Remember the initial beating, he had a gun with him. And it wasn't the first time he had beaten her. And it wasn't that he beat her lightly. He beat her so significantly.
That is sick. You're going to burn in hell for that one, dude.
And it wasn't a simple assault where he slapped her. This is an individual that had beaten her severely. So the signs seemed to be there, and it was incumbent on everybody along the way.
Yeah, how was that not attempted red rum? Emma, that's what I'm saying. The first one, how was that not attempted?
To ensure that if they were going to release him, which I think many of us have questions about whether they should have, that they were going to release him.
Man, look at that dude's eyes. That dude's dark as hell. Looking crazy.
Within parameters that protected the victim who deserved to be protected.
Court records would show Bricen Rivers was let out of jail on Monday, June 24th.
What is that?
At 4:05 p.m., despite a bond order noting that Rivers should not be released from jail after 4 p.m. because Tracking Solutions would be closed by that time.
I'm shaking my head because I'm not, and I should be, but anyone who works in the justice system recognizes the lack of responsibility that often occurs, especially when people aren't talking to each other, people aren't reading documents that they're supposed to be reading. And those few minutes are kind of what helped this chain reaction occur, because that's how the bondsman ended up going to a different GPS company. That's how they didn't know what the bond was supposed to be for. Now, don't forget, there does come a point where they do know that he's not allowed to travel outside of the state. They put a new GPS monitor on it, but he still managed to travel outside the state. And so we still don't have answers as to what happened then.
You what?
Man, you crazy as hell. How the hell does that happen? Oh, we didn't even know what he's... Oh, we're just supposed to put this on? Oh, he's not supposed to leave the state? Oh, we should just let him leave the state. What?
How dare you?
That's crazy.
Why was no one alerted immediately? She's killed so shortly after he's released. And I think people fail to realize how quickly it was that she ended up being the victim of a domestic violence murder.
So instead of bail
Dear Lord.
bonding agent, who also signed Rivers's release form, took him to a different company, Freedom Monitoring Services. Court documents detailed more, as Freedom Monitoring reportedly said the bond order wasn't available at the time. So they took Rivers's word that he was allowed to return to Mississippi, and they didn't set the GPS tracking perimeter to Davidson County.
I've certainly seen mistakes made. I've certainly
Are you serious? Are you sued? Oh my God. If this family doesn't immediately file a lawsuit against the company that took the defendant's word. Hey, defendant guy that we're supposed to be putting a GPS monitor on, are you able to leave the county? Absolutely, I am. Yep. I don't even know. You know what? Actually, I'm not even supposed to be here. What? Oh, I thought this was Chipotle. I was about to get myself a chicken burrito. Oh, I stepped in the wrong damn place. GPS. Nope. I was trying to add guac, trying to get that hot salsa, a little sour cream action. I need to get the hell on out of here. I'm going to Mississippi. What kind of craziness is that? That is nuts. I'm pissed now. I'm mad about this one. That's crazy, isn't it?
seen irresponsible behavior. I've never seen someone or a monitoring agency take the word of a defendant that they're allowed to travel wherever they want.
Yeah, what the hell is that? This person must be outside of their damn mind. Oh, we're supposed to put a GPS tracker on you. Why would you put a GPS tracker on somebody? Because you want to know where they are, which probably means they're not supposed to go somewhere. Why else would they put a GPS monitor on someone? That is dumb. Sued. Jennifer, yes, we sure are. Yep, you can watch on YouTube and Rumble. Just search The Mystery Project.
And remember, the bondsman knew he wasn't allowed to travel also and didn't say a word. And I'll be frank, it isn't just about them. The DA's office makes a call to the father, but the DA's office, at least not from the records I've seen so far, doesn't follow up necessarily with the judge. There were mistakes along the way, really, in terms of
mistakes. Man, putting forgetting to put the clothes in the dryer, that's a mistake. You know what I mean? Or putting your comforter in the dryer but not turning it on, that's a mistake. All right? This is a catastrophic failure on so many people. Literally a catastrophic failure. Oh my God. Man, if I was this girl's parents, man, metaphorically, heads would be rolling.
Everyone involved in this case, other than Lauren and her family, as to how it was that he eventually was able to travel. I have to add something, Elizabeth. GPS monitoring, orders of protection, they don't stop someone from committing a crime. If you want to commit a crime, you're going to go. If you want to violate an order of protection, you're going to go and violate the order of protection. If you want,
but you're supposed to be able to see that person's doing that so they can intercept them from doing something.
Want to ignore GPS monitor, you're going to travel. You're going to be there's going to be signs that you left the area, but it's not going to stop you from doing it. The reason it matters is because it makes someone resist sometimes that urge to commit the crime that maybe they wouldn't necessarily have done. And that's the reason that it's so significant.
It wouldn't be until 4 days later on Friday, June 28th, when Freedom Monitoring would receive the bond paperwork. By that time, the company also received a no communication alert from Rivers' GPS monitoring. So they reportedly contacted him and ordered him to return to Nashville to be fit for a new monitor. But on the same day, Rivers' probation officer reached out to Tracking Solutions, which was the court-ordered GPS monitoring service, and informed Rivers' probation officer he never reported to them. So Tracking Solutions sent a violation report to the district attorney's office to let the DA's office know though, he was in violation of his bond conditions. The DA's office would inform Lauren's father that Rivers hadn't reported for an ankle monitor or had been heard from. However, Lauren's father wouldn't hear that message until 3 days later. On Saturday, June 29th, Rivers would return to Nashville to be fitted with a new GPS monitor. Then 2 days later, on July 1st, Freedom Monitoring said his monitor battery went down to 6% and placed a call to him shortly after 10 p.m. to charge it, which he reportedly did. But then around midnight, Rivers called to say he wouldn't be able to make it to court in Nashville the following day because he didn't have a ride. But on this day, Lauren's father's worst nightmare would come true. He discovered the message left by the district attorney's office from that past Friday and said he could no longer get in touch with Lauren, but also received a text that didn't seem like it came from his daughter. The next day, Lauren's father received a notification her Life 360 tracker had been turned off. Lauren's sister, who she lived with at the time, said she wasn't at home and that the security camera at their front door had been destroyed, prompting Lauren's family to report the 22-year-old as missing.
Oh my God.
Around 10 a.m. on that same day of July 2nd, Freedom Monitoring said Rivers' battery started dying and he wasn't responding to messages throughout the day. So officials contacted his mother, who said she hadn't heard from him or seen her son. So the court then issued a warrant for Rivers for being in violation of court orders after they learned he had been in Mississippi since June 24th and on a GPS monitor with the wrong company. His last location before the monitor died showed Rivers was in Biloxi, Mississippi. But then the case would take a
Oh God, not Biloxi.
devastating turn, as the Harrison County Coroner's Office said that same day Lauren was killed. Police discovered her body a day later on July 3rd when Hattiesburg PD used OnStar to track Lauren's car to a cemetery in Harrison County. While arriving at the scene, authorities say Rivers was seen running from the car, and that's when police made the gruesome discovery in Lauren's car as she was found wrapped in trash bags and sheets. After the devastating discovery, a 6-hour manhunt ensued to find Rivers, who was ultimately tracked down in the woods and taken into custody. He now faces charges including kidnapping, possession of a controlled substance, and murder. At this time, it's unclear if Rivers entered a plea, so it's unclear if down the line the case will go to trial.
So I think anytime
Man, you gonna burn in hell.
there is a murder case, several questions come up. What is the offer going to be? Does a person want to take responsibility because they don't want to put the family through a trial knowing what the ultimate result's going to be?
This guy doesn't seem like the kind of dude that, yeah. How do you need to put, it should say Lauren. Does it say Lauren, y'all?
And I think it's also what the evidence is. I think we know
Let me refresh it.
here that he's caught nearby. I think there was a manhunt for 4 hours after he fled the vehicle where her body is found. And I think that with the GPS showing that he's in the area, I think he and his attorneys recognize that he's in big trouble. But the question really is, what's the offer and whether he's willing to take it?
As Rivers remains behind bars on a now 6-figure bond amount, Rindleman explains it's surprising.
Oh, they're gonna reduce that bond too? You crazy judge?
You what?
You gonna reduce that bond?
He was issued a bond despite his previous violations.
If he had been arrested in New York, for example, I don't think there's any question that he would have been on remand. Other states are different. A lot of states don't do remand. They do $1 million or $2 million. So it surprises me, unless I hate to say this, unless the judge is confident that he can't make bail. Because if the judge is confident he can't make bail, or there's no bond conditions of which the judge believes he can meet, then in a sense, $1 million really is remand.
Lauren's murder caused devastation for her loved ones, as her family remembers her as a doting animal lover who brought a smile to everyone's faces. According to a GoFundMe page for the family, her final wishes were if something were to happen to her, she asked that her brothers, sister, mom, and her beloved rescue cats be taken care of, prompting many questions to be left unanswered. Mainly, how, with all the legal systems in place, could this horrific tragedy still occur?
A GPS monitor is put in place for certain reasons. The GPS, for example, is to track an individual, right? So that if they violate, meaning if they leave the state or they go outside the county, the agency is immediately notified. They're supposed to immediately notify the court and bring that person in. But again, it doesn't stop the crime.
No, they took his word. They took his word. He goes in, I can go wherever I want.
From happening. It just puts a little bit added protection that there'll be a warning potentially before it happens. And so again, the conduct of this defendant, assuming he is the person, perpetrator committing this crime, which I think the evidence is pretty clear, he is ultimately responsible. But there needs to be accountability for everybody else along the way as to how this ended up
Sued.
happening.
Online records show Bricen Rivers is still behind bars in the Harrison County Adult Detention Facility in Gulfport, Mississippi.
That's where you're going to live for the rest of your life, dude. And then you're going to burn in hell. Jail, then hell.
Where he is being held on a $1 million bond.